Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to EO Sports Network special coverage of the 2020 fictional cycling season. Elon Olive here with our cycling expert, my brother, Laird Olive. Laird, Paris-Roubaix, what's it all about? Tell us all about it.
Cobbles. That is what the order of the day is. It's cobblestones. This is the race that any cobble classics specialist dreams of winning. They don't dream of winning the Tour de France. They dream of winning the cobble classics. In fact, I've heard the guy that we had win Milan San Remo, Peter Sagan, actually say he'd rather win this race over Paris-Roubaix or over Tour de France. Sorry.
Well, it should be a lot of fun. And Laird, I'm going to go ahead and test. Because of some recommendations that were given to us, we are not able to do Zoom at this time. I'm going to test out something else really quick. Share screen. Share. Yep. Sorry about that. And Laird, tell me if you can see the dice roller now.
I see the dice roller.
Awesome. So maybe this will be a good way for you to be able to see this thing. So, Laird, as usual, we give a good intro on what this race is about. It is called Paris-Roubaix. It is the hell of the North. It starts in France and it ends in Roubaix. This is a historic race. This is probably the first major big race of the season. As you mentioned, if you are a quote unquote classic rider or a cobble rider, this is what you are training for. Tell us about the prestige and the history behind this event.
Well, the prestige it's huge. I mean, the what to win Paris-Roubaix makes you a legend. I mean, if you zoom in on the profile and see how many kilometers is in this monster, it's insane. And how many of those cobbled sections do? Like, you'll see if you zoom in on the cobbled sections, you'll see that there's little numbers above them, right? Those numbers indicate how hard these sections are. If you look, especially towards the end, how hard they are, it gets pretty hairy.
And of course, this has one of the most unique finish lines in the history of cycling. I'm actually going to go ahead and bring that up real quick. Paris-Roubaix finish. Larry, tell us about this. It finishes in a outdoor velodrome. They race a lot on cobbles like this. This is the majority of the race. And then it finishes up in this velodrome right here. Tell us about the historic significance behind that.
Well, that velodrome that's one of the meccas of cycling. It's a place where, I mean, you grow up watching it on TV and you see all the people there and the atmosphere and being Paris-Roubaix. It's a historic place. Inside the velodrome is actually the showers, and the showers are still like the old times, like granite shower stalls. And on the side of those, each stall is the name of a winner of Paris-Roubaix, and so that's how your name lives on in the afterlife, or in the afterlife. How you make your legacy in Paris-Roubaix is through
The
that.
afterlife. I love it. Well, hopefully we are still ready to go here. 1 second. I accidentally closed the window that had the live room. So let's go ahead and get us back to that live studio on YouTube, home of the EO Sports Network. This is going to be a lot of fun. It is a big race, Laird. You've talked about how these races don't really give us an idea of who is going to win the Tour de France.
Not at all.
But
Not
these
at all.
races are a completely different title to begin with. I mean, let's go ahead and talk about the types of riders that win this type of race.
It's the same type as what we were talking about yesterday. The bigger, more uh, heavier built riders, the more hardy guys. Those, if you look at them, those guys, they don't have the skinny arms like the guys, the Chris Froomes, Alejandro Valverde, all those guys. They're a lot more heavier set, and those are the guys that win this. And it's because those smaller guys, they just can't, they just don't have the muscle mass to pad all the vibrations going on.
And it is
Wow,
a lot of cobblestones. It's going to be a bumpy ride for the riders today, and one of them will come out the winner of what's called the Hell of the North. It's dusty, it's rough, it is cycling at its rawest form. Laird, are you ready to get this one started?
I'm excited. Yesterday was a great race, and this I'm hoping we get the same kind of action as we did yesterday.
Good chance to recap. Yesterday in the Tour de Flanders, Joshua Sitterlin was in that front group, was in contention from the word go. Casper Asgren, one of the big favorites, couldn't catch him as right before the 1 kilometer banner, Sitterlin just let fly an attack that nobody could respond to. Asgren tried to chase him down, and Yves Lampert comes in third. Second podium in 2 attempts for the Quick Step rider. All right, let's go ahead and meet our teams competing and what the rankings are. In Team A, we have Quick Step, the team of Yves Lampert and Casper Asgren. I believe both of them are here. We also have Philippe Gilbert here for Quick Step, and that's the name that you really need to look out if you're going to keep an eye on the team that has dominated the one-day classics thus far. 3 podiums out of 6 attempts. Actually, I think there's more. Yeah, 3 podiums, out of 6 attempts. Quick Step absolutely dominating the early part of the season, Laird Olive.
Well, you can say they're dominating it, but yesterday they got that completely wrong. Don't look for that to happen today. Usually, if they're in it with the chance for Roubaix, that's the one race I've seen them not completely screw the pooch on. I've seen them screw up on a lot of these classic races, but for some reason, Roubaix, when they are on, they always get it right.
Class B teams, we have Education First, AG2R. Bora, keep an eye on them, and Peter Sagan. FDJ, Jumbo, Trek, Wanty, Bahrain Merida, and Confidus. Laird, out of all those teams that are listed as B-rated teams, the one that shocks me the most is actually Confidus. We've seen them towards the C and D ranks up until now.
So, first of all, it's Cofidus, not Confidus. It's Cofidus.
Cofidus, got it.
And then the reason that they are higher up, trying to find their start list, I was looking at it earlier. The reason they're higher up is because they got a guy named Hugo Hofstetter who's been pretty consistent in these type of races. But also, if you just look at the other teams here, you got, I'm just going over the start list. I'm looking over it. I'm seeing who else here that jumps out at me. Peter Sagan, obviously, at Bora jumps out. Greg Van Avermaet for CCC jumps out. Nils Pollitt jumps out from Katusha Alpecin, and he's the reason why the Katusha's an A team. Movistar, Josh Sutherland again is here. What would it be like if he were to do a double, which has happened before?
It has, but it hasn't happened for a while, right?
Last time it was Fabian Cancellara. Around 2012, I think.
That's unbelievable to me, knowing that he's a time trial specialist. One thing that I just realized, Laird, you know how in the last part of the step we roll on their rating? We've been rolling on the team rating, correct? If you look at each rider, each of them has an individual rating. Look at that. Like Oliver Nason for AG2R is a Class B. Vinderberg for AG2R is a Class C. So we've been doing something incorrect that I just caught, and I think could actually make things a lot more interesting. You could see someone ride away, or you could see 1 or 2 guys get to the end when you take that into account. I'm super excited to get this race started after looking at that.
Yeah, definitely. It's going to be a fun... I think you sent me the wrong picture a couple of times.
I think I sent you multiple pictures, actually.
Yeah, so. You sent me...
Yeah, sorry. Anyways, let's go ahead and get started. Step 1 of 5. Let's go ahead and result this one. We roll 1d10 to figure out how many racers are in contention to start out with. Ready and go. Keep an eye on the d10 on the outside. It's an 8. So that is... Wow, this is going to be a big one. 4 d6 worth of racers. All right, so let's keep an eye on the outside red. That's 3 right off the bat. So 1, 2, 3. So there's our first. Roll number 2. 3 more. 4, 5, 6. So halfway there, we will have 6 riders right off the bat. We'll check on the next. Only one additional one on roll number 4. Roll number 5 coming right up. 2 more. So that's 7, 8, and 9. And we have one more roll. 4 more. So 13 riders here.
Question real quick.
Hmm?
Is there really only 3 riders from Astana on the thing?
Yes.
Okay, that was
So they
unusual.
only
Yeah, I
get a
didn't know
rating if they finish the race.
that. Okay,
So that's one thing. So 13 riders to start this one out. Ready to find out who number 1 is, Laird?
I'm
So,
excited. I'm excited to see who's going to be in this. This is going to be a big group. This could probably be the one that this is where we're going to find the winners. I don't think the Rayquay is going to bring this back at all, or the group's going to bring this back at all.
a 92, and that's going to be a Class C team. So let's find out who it is. 32, that is Direct Energy. So Direct Energy. Laird, do you have their roster up, or do I need to look it up?
I got it up.
Okay. And the roll, 50 on Direct Energy.
Ah, what the freak?
Uh-oh. Having some technical difficulties over there, I assume.
50 looks like it's Anthony Turgis.
50 for Direct Energy. Yes, Anthony Turgis. So, Anthony Turgis. And he is a, where'd you go? Class B rider. So that's how we know where he might be. So Anthony Turgis leading the pack. Let's find out who it is this time. Roll a 19. That's going to be a Class A team. The question is, will it be Quick Step or Katusha? And it is going to be Katusha. So Katusha, Alpecin. Let's roll on theirs. An 8, and that's going to send Nils Pollitt, a Class A rider.
Back in 2018, he finished second to no, it was 2019. He finished second to Philippe Gilbert last year in this race. So he's definitely proven that he can do well here.
I don't know why it's bolded, but we'll correct that. I don't want you to be bold. Here we go. Nils. How do you spell that? Pollitt. Pollitt. So Katusha with Nils Pollitt in there. Now let's find out who number 3 is. This is going to be a while. We got 13 racers to figure this one out. It's a 5. That's another A team. 83, Katusha is going to send someone to go help out Nils. Throw on Katusha. And 86, that is...
Mads Wutschmidt.
No, that's Reto.
Oh, yeah, Reto Hollenstein. Sorry.
It's totally fine. Numbers are kind of tricky to line up with. Oh my gosh, why do we have it at bold? I don't want it to be bold. Whatever, I'll deal with it. Reto Hollenstein. For Katusha. Laird, would you, real quick, let me know what rating Reto is.
Reto is E.
E. All right, let's find out who rider number 4 is going to be. 44, I think that still is going to be a Class A team. It is. And now Quick Step's going to get their first guy out there. Quick Step, the team of Yves Lampard, currently the Pro Tour leader, sending out their big gun, Philippe Gilbert. And Laird, this is a guy that knows this race well. He's won it a few times.
You can try to name a race he hasn't won. I mean, he's insane. He try to name a jersey in the sport he hasn't won. He's even worn the yellow jersey in the Tour de France back in 2011. he was a former world champion that same year. He was the 2011 world champion. He's an A class, by the way, obviously. Um, but yeah, one of my personal favorites. He's one of the only guys that has won all of the monuments but one.
Which one is he missing?
Milan Sanremo.
Well, he'll have to wait till 2021 for that attempt, but he does look strong to start out Paris-Roubaix. Let's go ahead and find out who's next. 9, it's going to be another 18.
These 18s are dominating this breakaway.
Quick Step, sending another man to go help out Gilbert.
This is not a breakaway. This would be what's classified just as a split. I'm either Katusha or maybe it was Direct Energy, like how big this group was, and they put Turgis at the front, and now he's just split this group, or split the main group.
Zendik Stibar.
There we go again.
In there for Quick Step, and this looks like they're trying the exact same thing they tried yesterday at the Tour de Flanders. Let's hope it works out a little bit better for them.
They can't try the same thing. They got to attack. They got to attack. They got to attack. This is too big of a group. This group is not – we're not coming into the velodrome with 13 people. I guarantee that.
Zendik Stibar, an A rider, as we were about to hit the halfway point of putting together this group, and it's another A team right now. Katusha and Quick Step battling it out for supremacy in the peloton. And it's Katusha that's going to send their third man over there. 97, that's going to be Rick Zabel.
Rick Zabel. That's a good one.
Any relation to Eric?
Son.
So son of the late 90s sprinting legend, Eric Zabel.
Up until last year, he held the record for the points jersey in the Tour de France, the sprinter's jersey, and Peter Sagan broke his record last year.
Zabel's an F in this race, so hopefully he can hang on. Now let's find out who's next. I would like to see a B or C team in there, and I think I'm going to get my wish. 77, that is a B team. So now we look at the big group that contains Education First, AG2R, Bora, FDJ, Jumbo, Trek, Wanty, Bahrain Merida, and Cofidis. 89, it's Bahrain Merida. Interesting to see who that might be coming across, getting into contention from them. 43 on Bahrain Merida, that is Christian Corin. Say that again, sorry?
Christian Corin.
Corin.
Yeah, Corin, I think is how you pronounce it.
So, Bahrain Merida, probably going to be working a little bit with Direct Energy to kind of calm things down.
It's a C rider.
So he's got a chance to hang on till the end. It will be difficult, but you never know. Kristen Corin.
Well, the thing with Bahrain Merida is they don't got someone that's an out-and-out favorite, so that anybody they can get into this front split is good for them.
Now we're going to see another one from Quick Step. They're bringing the whole group up. It just might be that they're bringing up kind of a lead-out train for Philippe Gilbert.
Well, it's not that they bring out lead-out trains. They were smart. They rode all at the front coming into this first hard section, and the split was forced, and they're all up there.
Hold on one second. Quick Step 90. 90, Zendik Stibar. So, no, 79, Zendik Stibar.
Wait a minute. Oh, yeah.
73, Florian Senchal.
Yep, Florian Senchal is also, I think, saying it's an A as well. Yeah, he's an A as well. I mean, looking at the roster here for Quick Step, they got 1, 2, 3, 4 A riders. It's insane.
The Tour de France, the Giro d'Italia. The Giro d'Italia is going to start in 2 weeks' time. We're going to get through the final of these classics next week. We've only got 3 more. Those were the ones that will tell you who's on form to possibly do well at the Tour de France. That is, of course, Liège-Bastogne-Liège, Amstel Gold Race, and Flèche-Wallonne, not necessarily in that order.
Yeah, we're going to have to do Amstel Gold first, then Flèche-Wallonne, then Liège-Bastogne-Liège.
36, that is going to be another A-rated team. 1 through 50 means A-rated team. Let's find out which one it is. 21, it's going to be another man from Quickstep. They're going to have 4 in this group of 13. Rolling on the dice. 69 on Quick. That is Florian Senchel.
Yep.
So that's a no. 70. I believe that's Florian as well. It is. 93. Casper Asgren. We talked about him the last race yesterday. And now he is ready to get going here. Oh, whoops, my bad. I did not mean to do that. Did not mean to go over Florian. There we go. Casper Asgren. Quick Step. What is he rated at, Laird?
He is an F. Ooh. No, D. He's
D.
Yeah, he's a D.
So Casper Asgren.
And the reason he was an A yesterday and he's a D today is it's not hard enough hills-wise.
Check in to see this. And now we're going to get someone who's not an A team. 75, that is another B team. So who's that going to be? 68 on B. It is Trek. So Trek Segafredo.
Trek Segafredo, yep.
Going to bring someone into this. Of course, they'll be looking to bring in Jasper Stuyven, also John Degenkolb. Can't count any of them out. And it's going to be easily Jasper Stuyven. Thank you. We'll see if we do see John Degenkolb come out there. As you mentioned, he's won this race before.
Now, they're a team that actually, if they get enough guys in the breakaway, look out, because they do got Stuyven, they got Degenkolb, and they got the reigning world champion, Mads Pedersen. And Pedersen has had a pretty good showing here before.
Mads Pedersen, is he at the race today? Let's find out.
He is.
He is. He would be 81 through 88 on theirs. Jasper is a Class C, so it might be difficult for him to hang on. Let's find out who the final 3 racers are in this group. They're going to come from an A team. And it's going to be Quickstep. I think that, does Quickstep have only 5 riders on the roster? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It is. So only one left would be Yves Lampard. So they have sent their entire team. This doesn't feel like a breakaway to me. This feels like the peloton is all pretty well together, and Quickstep is just going to control the pace of this thing. And then when you start seeing things fall off, you might call it an attack, especially when there's 1 or 2 Quickstep guys left.
Well, like I said, that this was direct energy, was like, okay, we need to make this a little bit harder. Put Anthony Turgos, he's probably one of our strongest riders, put him at the front, have him force the situation on this first hard cobbled section. And Quickstep, because they're smart like that, they were all riding at the front waiting for this to happen. And now that it's happened, they're all on the right side of the split.
This one will be not from an A team. 78, that is another B team. Who shoots across to join them here? 62 on B. That is Trek. This might be, we could see John Degenkolb crawl across at 92. It's not going to be Degenkolb. It will, in fact, be Edward. Say that name, please.
Twins. I don't know. This is one of those hard Belgium names again. Theuns.
Theuns. Theuns. We'll just call it Theuns. What kind of rating does he carry, Laird?
He carries an E.
E.
On the off chance that he actually ever sees this, Edward, we're sorry for mispronouncing your last name.
All right, final racer before we start the step. It's going to be another B-rated team. And it is 96 on B. That's Cofidis. Cofidis coming in here with Hugo Hofstetter. See if he's the one that they tap. Nope, it won't be. It will be Cyril Limoni.
Cyril Limon.
Sorry.
He's an E rider. Katusha's got to do something different here.
All right now, obviously, as we get ready to start the part where people could join and drop, what are you looking at here? Let's go by team by team. How are they responding to this situation? First, Direct Energy. You said that they just kind of tried to push Quick Step out of their comfort zone, hoping they wouldn't respond, and obviously that didn't work.
Well, that's not necessarily push Quickstep out of their comfort zone. What they did here is they were just smart, putting one of their guys at the front at the beginning of the race when it gets hard, because they know the easiest way to stay with the lead group is right at the front. A lot of races you don't want to do that, but in this one you do, because if someone has a bad day and slows up, you're going to get caught behind the gap. Someone crashes, you'll get caught behind that, and your race is over. So that's what they did. Now, Katusha, they were riding smart. They had Niels Paul and they had Reto up there, and then they also had Rick Zabel. I'm a little disappointed, though, that they weren't able to keep everybody up there like Quickstep did. Quickstep, they were all probably just told right up the front, wait for the race to really start, and then we'll start doing it, but we need to have everybody up there, and that's exactly what they did. Trek, they did a halfway decent job with that, too, by making sure Stuyven and Tuens are up there. Kofidis, honestly, Cyril Lamont, I feels like he was probably kind of lucked out where he was at. And maybe Karsten Krohn is going to be one of the guys caught in the middle of it. But that's exactly what I said about Sutherland yesterday. So we'll see what happens, though.
Yeah.
But a lot of things can happen. More riders can join up. I'm going to be looking for Katusha to either try to chase this down or put more people into this group, because they're an A team. They can't be racing like this if they want to try to take on Quickstep when they've got all 5 of their riders forcing the situation up front.
You also look at Trek, who they actually look fairly strongly represented in that group. What do they need to do in order to try to hang on to the end?
Either they can do one of two things. They can either try to get more guys up there. Mads Patterson, a guy we were talking about, he's definitely not a guy you would mind having up there, especially John Degenkolb as well. Or they can just do what Josh Sutherland yesterday, just try to follow the attacks and just let the race try to come to them. But there's too many people up in Quickstep right now for my liking for that situation. They've got to even this out. Someone's got to even this out. Or in the likely chance, Katusha can get something going with maybe Anthony Turgis or Christian Koren. That's highly unlikely, though. Deals like that are more likely in stage races where there is a tomorrow. There's no tomorrow for this one. You come across the finish line at first, it's over.
I think it's safe to say that as the group sits right now, as we get ready to start step 1 of 5 after the group, after we've assembled our main group here, the favorite does look like Philippe Gilbert. Philip Reynolds joining us here on the channel says, hey, is this where the ugly bike people come to play? It is indeed, and when you talk about ugly bikes, it's Paris-Roubaix. Look at this, Philip. This is a picture of the actual race. It's cobblestones, it's bumpy, it's dusty, it is raw, and it is anything but glamorous. It's been known to have either this type of feel or an absolutely torrential downpour, which makes that dust all turn to mud. It is not the romantic race like the Tour de France, the Giro d'Italia. This is the one for the big boys. All right, Larry, let's go ahead and roll on each one of these guys and see what happens. First, we'll start with Anthony Turgis. He's a Class B rider, so he has a 0 through 7 on the outside blue as we roll. And he gets a 2. He's going to hang on there. Niels Pollitt, he's an A, 0 through 8. He hangs on with a 2. Reto Holenstein from Katusha. He is a Class E. He has a 0 through 4, so a chance he could be dropped. Watching the outside blue, and it's a 9, so Holenstein can't hang on, so he will be dropped. Philippe Gilbert, he's an A. That's a 0 through 8. It's going to be very hard to not see him make it to the finish. Oh, he almost didn't. It's a 7. He's going to hang on, but you get the feeling that maybe, just maybe, Katusha and Direct Energy might be working together to put Quickstep into some difficulty. Zendik.
Well, if that happened, they just screwed themselves, because Katusha just lost one of the helps that they needed for Niels Pollitt up there.
Zendik Stibar, rated an A, 0 through 8, and he's safely in there as a 4. Eric Zabel as an F. He only has a 0 through 3 chance of staying, so chances are he's going to get dropped, and he does.
How is Katusha an A team if they can't keep guys in the main breakaway? This is ridiculous. I'm kind of getting a little irritated at their tactics right here.
Bahrain Merida, Christian Koren. with a C, 0 through 6 to try to hang in there. And he's out. He draws a 9. He drops out the back of the field, and that's going to do it for his time on the television screen. Now to Florian Chanel.
Turgis is under some sort of order to push this thing. There's got to be someone getting ready to come up the road once this breakaway gets a sizable amount that they find more in their favor.
Florian Senchel from Quickstep, 0 through 8. He rolls a 7. He barely hangs on. The pace by Anthony Turgis must be outstanding if these riders are struggling. Casper Asgren, second in the Tour de Flanders, has a 0 through 5 chance of staying on, and he barely hangs on at a 4. Now to Jasper Stuyven. He is a Class C rider, and that is a 0 through 6 chance. So a chance he might get dropped, and he does. Trek is not able to keep up with the frenetic pace put up by Direct Energy. I think Katusha might have gotten a little jumpy. I think Paulett saw that Anthony Turgis was much stronger than the rest of the group and decided to just work with Paulett and leave his own teammate behind. Yves Lampert, he's an A. 0 through 8 is what we're looking for, and he rolls a 3. He's safely in there. Edward Thunis, Trek. Just when we thought they were expertly set up to possibly help John Degenkolb shoot across the gap, they are losing ground, and they need him to stay. He is an E, 0 through 4. Low numbers, please, on the outside blue. And he does. He's 2. He's going to stay in there. And then Cyril Limone from Cofidis. Limone, excuse me. 0 through 4. Does he hang on? No, he's going to barely get dropped off the back. We started this with 13, count them, 13 guys in this breakaway. Or not breakaway, excuse me, in this lead group. No, it's turned into a breakaway now, actually. That's what we're seeing now. Would you agree?
Not quite yet. This is still too big for me to classify this as a lead group, honestly, because you got 5 guys from one team up there. That's not a breakaway yet. This is still just the race doing what it usually does by eliminating people with the pace. And Direct Energy, they're definitely playing this very smart, but I gotta wonder, is this the smart? Shouldn't they be making Quickstep do this now, because they're the ones obviously in control of this race? They got 5 guys up there against everyone else everyone else is isolated. So I've got to be wondering, is Turgis eventually going to peel off and say, all right, you guys have the control, I'm not doing it anymore?
You never know. If it could be one of those deals where Turgis maybe outlasts them all and starts blasting up the road. It could happen. Philip Reynolds says, I'll be doing Demo Derby racing next Sunday. I will have to check that out. Check out Philip Reynolds' YouTube channel. Great gaming channel as well. Part of the FOC, Friends of the Channel, started by, of course, the amazing Al Red Sox fan. If you're watching live, join us in the chat room. If you're watching on demand, give us a comment. Let us know what you think of this broadcast. All right, now moving into the beginning of step 2 of 5. Let's see if anyone joins these guys. We're rolling a D6. So outside red. 6. Oh boy. Add 1 D6 worth of racers. We're going to add 2 more. So 2 more racers going to be joining us. Let's find out from what teams. You would think if it's another, I don't think you can't send anyone else from Quickstep. You can't.
Well, no, they're all there.
They're all there. So let's find out on the D100, 68. That's going to be a B-rated team. Let's find out who it is. 15 on B. That is going to be Education First. So they are sending a man up the road for the first time, maybe to try to feel things out. They are working for Sepp Van Mark, who you said kind of got robbed a little bit of a victory. And by the way, the man they are sending up is Van Mark.
Well, that's no surprise. Yesterday he got into the breakaway late again, and now he's doing the exact same thing.
Sepp Van Mark, a Class A, so he will be tough to get rid of.
Hopefully he doesn't get rid of. I'd love to see him actually win it this time. I mean, like I said, back in 2013, he was in tears on the finish line because Fabian Cancellara beat him on the line to this race.
What a chance for redemption he has. Now we'll see who the next racer is from. And it will be an A-rated team. By default, it's going to be Katusha because there is no one else left from Quickstep. So Katusha, are they going to go ahead and send someone to help out Pollitt? You would think their best bet would be to send Marco Haller. Let's find out. 19, that falls in Nils Pollitt, so we'll have to re-roll. 26, that is still Pollitt. 31, Pollitt. 68, now we're talking that. Yep, they send up Marco Haller.
They needed him. He's a B, but they needed him. I don't understand how Katusha can be an A-class team when they only got one A-class rider.
Well, just to kind of give a peek behind the curtain of how this game is made, who won the 2019 Paris-Roubaix?
Philippe Gilbert.
Really?
Yes.
Who was second?
Nils Pollitt.
That's how. They do it by basically, they equate the individual performance to team performance.
I understand that, but still,
but
you can't win this race, especially.
Also, you got to remember, the die's just not falling Katusha's way right now. And when you play replay games, that sometimes happens. Like right now, on another project I'm doing, the Cleveland Indians and the Houston Astros are playing the 2017 NLD or ALDS. The Astros won the World Series that year. The Indians didn't even make it very far. And sometimes the dice roll to give you unexpected results. Shoot, you know who the reigning Super Bowl champions are in my world are?
Who?
The Jacksonville Jaguars.
Oh, I was going to say, I remember watching you do something with, it was the playoffs. The Seattle Seahawks were the number 2 seed in the AFC because for some reason you put them in the AFC. But anyways, they were the number 2 seed in the AFC. They hosted a division against at CenturyLink against the Texans, and they lost.
Well, the Texans did go on to win.
That was about that.
See, you never know what happens. And by the way, I mean,
Brian Hoyer beat Russell Wilson in a freaking playoff game? Never going to happen. Never.
Well, the Houston Texans did win the Super Bowl that year. All right, let's go ahead and get over here and complete step 2 of 5. We'll roll on Anthony Turgis. He's a B rider, 0 through 7 on the outside blue, and he hangs on no problem. Great ride so far by Turgis. Nils Pollitt.
He's actually come off the front. He is not doing any more work because you just notice he's barely hanging on there. He's like, I need to break. So someone else is going to have to push this if they want to drop somebody.
Philip Reynolds in the chat room says, why they suck. LOL. I'm guessing he's talking about your Seahawks, Laird. Nils Pollitt. 0 through 8. Oh, no! Pollitt's out! They've dropped him! Nils Pollitt has been dropped. He's cracked. They will not see him to the line. It's now up to Marco Haller for Katusha.
This is going to turn into a team time trial for Quickstep. If they don't change, something doesn't change soon.
Philippe Gilbert looking slightly better. He hangs on no problem. Now, Zendik Stybar, 0 through 8 is what we're looking for. Stybar, beautiful ride so far by him. Florian Senchel, same thing for him. 4, he'll hang on. Casper Asgren. He is a Class D rider, means he's only got a 0 through 5. It's a realistic possibility they may lose him, and they do. So Quickstep finally loses one of their guys.
What happened there is Asgreen was actually pushing the pace that dropped Pollitt. He successfully dropped Pollitt. Asgreen now has no pressure left on him for the rest of the race. He's like, all right, I'm out.
Yves Lampert, 0 through 8. Gets an 8, so he's going to barely hang on. Edward Thenis. Oh, my Jags. Philip Reynolds, no, not my Jags. They're not my Jags. I play these projects completely as a spectator, completely as a commentator, and the Jags beat the Atlanta Falcons in the Super Bowl. If that's not crazy enough, Blake Bortles, I looked it up and we had to make sure. Blake Bortles broke the Super Bowl record for most passing yards in last year's Super Bowl. By the way, I got behind. I'm still working on those playoffs right now. If I were to guess who's going to be going in my Super Bowl for 2019, my Sim Super Bowl 50, what was the last one we just did, 54? I would say it's probably going to be a great matchup between the New England Patriots and the New Orleans Saints. That's what I would say right now. So stay tuned for more of that. I am playing those games offline until we get to the NFC Championship and the AFC Championship and the Super Bowl. Those will be broadcast. Same thing with the baseball. The ALCS, the NLCS, and the World Series will be broadcast. All right, Edward Theus. He's an E. So that's 0 through 4. Real chance he may go down. Outside blue, and it's an 8. So Trek's hope is done. Sepp Van Mark, let's see if he can gain here. 0 through 9, or 0 through 8, sorry, and it's a 2. Van Mark just hanging on, kind of loving life right now. Class B, 0 through 7 for Marco Holler. And it's a 0, so he's going to hang on there. So now Philippe Gilbert and his crew just continue to work their way up. This group continue to be getting whittled down, and at some point you would think it will probably be a breakaway. I don't see this group leading the entire pack. I could see Anthony Turgis launching an attack. We'll see what happens. So now
I'm just speechless right now. I just don't know what to say right now.
Now we enter step 3 of 5. Philip Reynolds says, I saw someone do an XFL Super Bowl matchup. Well, the fact that you're speechless and you don't know what to say shows how good of a game this is put out by Roberto Chiavini. And it simulates cycling. It does a great job. I've been looking for a cycling game for years, and now I feel like I've found one. And Laird, you and I are going to have to play a stage race off the air so you can see how that works, because it is different, and I think you're going to love it, because on the mountain stages, you have people bouncing from group to group, dropping to group. You got people launching off and launching attacks. It is amazing. Great job by Roberto Chiavini.
For that. But what I am going to say here is this is kind of realistic to how Real Paris-Roubaix would be. I don't think in Real Paris-Roubaix it'd be just 3 riders in the entire Quick-Step team at the front, but there would be a lot of Quick-Step riders at the front group in Paris-Roubaix. But so it's very realistic. What I'm just baffled by is the tactics here. You've got Quick-Step. Arguably, they're the New York Yankees of this race. They've won this race, I believe, more than anybody else, and they're 4 strong against 3 riders that are isolated. Something has to happen. There's got to be some guys bridging up to this.
We roll on the latecomers table. Outside blue 1, no additional racers. So I think this is the breakaway. No one is going to join this group. This is the breakaway.
No one has it to be a breakaway quite yet. This is still just a whittling down. When we see somebody go off and completely hammer this, and it shreds it down, that'll be the breakaway. This is still just a separation.
Philip Reynolds, DC versus Houston, but they made a mistake on the first touchdown. Talking about someone doing XFL Super Bowl matchup. They had the first team kick an extra point, which is not a possibility in the XFL. That is true. I didn't actually get to watch any of those XFL games. I wish I had, but hopefully, I don't know if they'll come back. We'll find out. Philip, you asked me to get a hold of you next time I saw you. So how can I help you? Let me know in the chat room if you're comfortable. But yeah, I'm more than happy to help you because you asked me to get a hold of you next time I see you. So, all right, let's roll on Anthony Turgis, who seems to be kind of the most aggressive rider here. 0 through 7. And it's a 9. He's out.
Quick-Step is pushing this. It's got to be either, I believe it's Florence Senchel that's got to be at the front pushing the pace here.
Philippe Gilbert, are they going to push him off? No, he hangs on at 3. Zendik Stibar. He hangs on as well. Florian Senchel, you said he's pushing the pace. Did he sacrifice himself? No, he hangs on. He's going to stay at the front. Yves Lampart, the Pro Tour leader. 3, he's on there. Sepp Van Mark. 0 through 8. 2, he's on there comfortably. And Marco Holler. You wonder if Van Mark and Holler are going to get into some negotiations here. 0 through 7 on the outside. Blue. Oh, there goes Holler. He's out. Katusha has in the front, and now it looks like that Quick-Step is going to set up Philippe Gilbert for the victory.
You can't really set him up this far out, though. We've still got a little bit left. Some stuff can happen.
Only one more chance for someone to fly across. We are in the final kilometers of this race. All right, you ready, Laird? This is the last chance that someone can shoot across the gap.
Somebody needs to shoot across here. That was the breakaway, though, by the way. Well, not really a breakaway. What happened is Florence Chantel went to the front, pushed the pace, and it just shredded the rest of those guys off that weren't able to hold on.
All right, Philip Reynolds, how do I play a game and see my audience at the same time? Okay, so it's a little bit complicated. Right now, I have on my OBS, I'm just going to go ahead and kind of give you a peek behind the scenes. Turn off the window capture. Turn Sorry about that. Sorry about that, guys. They said we had no audio there for a minute. All right, Larry, let's go ahead and recap what has been happening here. So, as they get to the velodrome, they take
As they
about.
came into so as they come into the velodrome, they got to do a lap and a half. At the moment they came into the velodrome, Stebar went to the didn't go to the front, but he attacked. But he attacked with Gilbert on his wheel. They're doing a flyer just like what Jasper Sutherland did to them yesterday. But it's a team time trial. Gilbert's probably going to pull him till probably about 10 meters or so before the line, and then he's going to slow up and he's going to let Gilbert pass him, unless Van Mark can get onto that wheel.
And the only way Van Mark gets onto the wheel is if he rolls a 66, and then we'll go into a tiebreaker roll between Van Mark and Stebar, because at that point, Gilbert, look at him. He rolled a 21. He cracked. He may not have it. He can't win it contested. Here we go. A roll. It has to be a 66 in order to force a tiebreaker roll. Here we go. And no, it's not going to happen.
Gilbert, two-time Paris-Roubaix champion.
Philippe Gilbert gets a very big help from his team and wins Paris-Roubaix. Beautiful job there by Stebar. He comes in second. Third place will be Sepp Van Mark with Yves Lampert and Florian Senchel rounding out the top five. Sorry about that, Glenn Bonesteel and Philip Reynolds, about the no audio. Hopefully things are corrected. But how about the move there by Quick-Step? They got bested by Movistar. A lone rider flying away in the last kilometers in the Tour of Flanders and now in Paris-Roubaix. Look at this, the instant replay. They run into the velodrome. You mentioned 1.5 laps here. Stebar attacks with Philippe Gilbert right on his wheel. The rest of Quick-Steps is letting it go because this is the team move. Sepp Van Mark has no choice but to try to respond. He responds about 1.5 seconds late, and it's too little too late. Philippe Gilbert and Stebar cruise to the line together. Stebar pulls up right before the end, and Philippe Gilbert wins the Tour, the Paris-Roubaix. Wow, what a team victory there by the Quick-Step riders.
What did I tell you? I said that in Paris-Roubaix, if Quick-Step is there, they hardly ever get it wrong.
And they didn't get it wrong today. Matter of fact, one could call this their most dominating team performance in history of that program, that story program. You can look at Tom Boonen and now Philippe Gilbert winning Paris-Roubaix. Wow, what a race. Laird, thank you so much for joining us. A big thank you to Glenn Bonesteel and Philip Reynolds for joining us in the chat, and anyone else who might be out there. Your winner of the 2020 Paris-Roubaix, Philippe Gilbert. What a race. What a game by Roberto Chiavini. Big thank you to him for all the work that he does for all of us gamers out there, and just a great experience. Laird, we've done 3 of these cycling races, and neither one of them have disappointed. Quick recap. Milan Sanremo. Peter Sagan gets the monkey off of his back. Yves Lampert and Marcus Burghardt round out the podium. Yesterday, Joshua Sutherland wins it with a beautiful ride. Casper Asgreen and leaves Yves Lampert in the podium for Quick-Step. And today they finally get the win.
Quick-Step so far in these classics this year.
Great run there by Quick-Step. Laird, tell us about the next race. It will be the Amstel Gold Race. Now we switch gears from the cobbled classics to something a little bit more interesting when you talk about the upcoming big races, the 21-day ones, the Giro d'Italia, the Volta a España, and of course the Tour de France.
So Amstel Gold is historically been kind of a prep race that guys for the Tour de France have used in the past. You go good there, then chances are you're gonna have a good July. Back in 2009, back in 1999, a certain rider named Lance Armstrong finished second in that race, and then he went on to do something at the Tour de France. We won't talk about that. But anyways, So yeah, it's definitely going to be a different type of rider. Um, you will see guys, some of the guys you saw yesterday, like Matthew Van Der Poel, he'll be there. Philippe Gilbert actually has won that race 3 times, I think, so he might factor into it. Um, but also Peter Sagan will be there. Julian Alaphilippe, the guy that I picked to win Milan San Remo, will be there. It's going to be a fun race, that's for sure.
Julian
And then
Alaphilippe, also a Tour de France favorite. Remember, the Tour de France set we're going to be using, Laird, 2019. You never know what could happen.
is he a Class A rider though for
Uh,
that?
I'll have to show you. It's a little bit different with the stage races, but I would say
There's
he's
nothing
in the.
more I'd love to see Julian Alaphilippe win the Tour de France.
Well, that's going to do it for this broadcast. Big thank you once again to Glenn Bonesteel and the great Philip Reynolds for joining us in the chat room. Again, Philippe Gilbert, your winner of the 2020 Paris-Roubaix. I'm Milanov saying thank you so much and take care.